Crooked everywhere. All right. Hey, everybody, it's Lee, and this is Let Us Say It For You. So if you are watching me on YouTube today, you see that I have a microphone in my hand. I did this mainly because I don't usually listen back to the podcast anymore, but I've started to just to check how it sounds. And I know the last one I felt like I was too far away. So I got the video running for the YouTube. So this is what you guys see. And then I'm recording some really clear, crisp audio for the podcast because theoretically people listen to this more than anything, and I would like it to just sound better. So I'm trying. Mind you, I've had this microphone and I have a whole bunch of other microphones, but the dynamic of the podcast has truly changed in 3 years. So it's just a little different now, but here we are. I hope you all have been well. I need you to know I did 2 podcasts on Sunday and today is Wednesday. I have been doing very good. Very good. You know, the little mean bitch, you doing a good job. It's me, I'm bitch, and I'm doing a good job. Okay. All right. So first things up, it's Caesar Emmanuel. I talked about him on the last episode, I believe, and it was about him and how he lost Black Ink. Well, not his company, but VH1. VH1 has cut ties with him since he's done the foolishness because he out here beating dogs and shit. So his response, and I heard this yesterday, but I just saw it again today, and that's why I'm talking about it. He said it's his ex that leaked the video. So I thought it was Donna at first, right? The other girl that was on the show. I thought it was Donna, but apparently Donna was just saying somebody needs to arrest him, I guess, because he's beating up the dog. So he claims it's his ex-girlfriend. Once he decided he didn't want to be with her anymore, she went and told the people he was beating the dog up. So my issue with his statement, whether it's true or not, she didn't make you fuck this dog up, Caesar. So again, it's just a lack of accountability. And it's like, niggas want to blame everybody under the motherfucking sun for their actions. No one made you beat this dog up. You beat this dog up. And even if she did leak it just to get back at you because you don't want to be with her, she then came out and said he used to whoop her ass too. So then she's showing bruises on her arm. And I'm like, oh, Lord, Caesar, you about to go to jail. You about to go to jail. At this point, if she has quote unquote bruises, and apparently he's abused his daughter, and they have him in 4K, I heard, whooping a dog's ass. It's like, nigga, I want better. I want better for him. I want better for her. I want better for the fucking dog. I want better for his child, whatever. So again, I just heard him doing a lot of deflecting about, she did it. And apparently he said the video is old. But again, it doesn't matter if this shit is 66 years old or 5 minutes old. You're caught, nigga. Like, do better. In the spirit of talking about old crimes coming back to bite your ass, peep this. Let me see. I gotta read it in front of me. It says, what is the moment? 101-year-old former Nazi concentration camp guard was sentenced to 5 years in prison. So this man, right, is 101. Y'all know I like, oh, well, maybe you don't know. I love old people. I love babies and I love old people. So he's 101. He was around the Holocaust. He was killing mad Jews for no fucking reason. And at 101 years old, he's sentenced to 5 years in prison. Imagine how fucked up that is. He's probably a pop now or papa. I would assume he's married. And it's like, but back in the day, you used to like kill mad people. Right. I don't know if you guys have ever really researched the Holocaust, and I'm not one of those Black people that compares, oh, the Holocaust is not as bad as slavery. I definitely feel like slavery was fucked up, but I'm not gonna debate, either struggle. The bottom line is it was fucked up, and he was one of the reasons why it was fucked up. So to know that your old age, you're about to now go to prison for 5 years, I feel like that's insane. But I feel like you get what you get. You play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. I'm somebody who watches like true crime shit all the time, and all I watch is people who did some shit, they got away with it for a little bit, and then the cops caught them. So I feel like you're getting what you deserve, old ass man. He's 101, so I don't really know how many more years he has in him, but he's gonna die in prison. I think it's fair to assume he's gonna die in prison, and I feel like that's insane. But this is what your fucked up, antics have got you. Like I said, you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. So I feel no ways about bruh, but I feel like that's crazy. that they about to have this old ass man in prison. And then just think about it. They got to do like cavity searches, like in your butt. They finna like fondle this old ass man. That's crazy. And then I also feel like, yes, he's old now, which is why, I'm very sensitive. That's kind of the whole Bill Cosby thing. I'm gonna talk about his ass in a minute. So yes, he's old now, but he wasn't old when he was fucking people up. So I just kind of feel like, Mr. Nazi guard, this is your life. This is what's left of your life. So good for him. I guess rest in peace. I don't know what to say. Next, Louisiana. So I told you guys last episode, and I told you that Louisiana is one of the states that was like, oh, abortions are immediately illegal. You bitches going to jail, or no, you doctors are going to jail if you're out here performing abortion. A Louisiana judge basically said, fuck y'all, we're not doing that, right? A judge said they do not plan to adhere to that ruling. They resumed all abortions. Because I mean, you got to think about it. Women had abortions on the books. Like today's what, Wednesday, bitches had abortions scheduled for Friday morning. They canceled all of them immediately because, the state now turned against it. So shout out to the judge in Louisiana. I want to see who it is. I don't know if they're white, black, woman, man, whatever, or if they're Democrat, Republican. I'm not sure either, but shout out to them for saying we're not doing that. Please, resume what it is you're doing. And again, I think it's Kimberly Ellis. I think so. The one that was in Tyler Perry's movie, and Charles, the bald head one, she ended up getting with Shamar Moore, I think. And she ended up doing that whole scene where she was eating the salad and he was blowing bubbles in the tub or some shit like that. She posted some shit today, and of course the internet is dragging her ass. And she was just like, all these wonderful babies will get to be born. No more babies will die because of, Roe versus Wade is overturned. So, hallelujah. Like, right. She said all that. And again, I understand the Christian aspect of it. If you're like a devout Christian and this is your thing, like this is wrong. But again, I just don't know how anybody with fucking common decency would stand by the notion of, if a 14-year-old is raped by her grandpa and she gets pregnant, she now has to have this baby because a whole bunch of men feel like, I don't even know what the fuck the justification is for that, but this is okay. Like, that's what this means. And if a woman is walking down the street and she gets raped, she is now forced to keep this child in these respective states because a whole bunch of men feel like that shit is okay. So again, it's like, I think her name is Kimberly. I think it's Kimberly Ellis. Sis, you should have just kept quiet. Those two things alone make this ruling so fucked up. Those two things. If those weren't on the books and it was like no abortions after a certain time or something, I wouldn't even really care. I feel like if you're fucking 30 weeks pregnant, bitch, I don't think you should be having an abortion. You've had 30 weeks to decide if you want to have this baby or not. That's a real ass baby. You can give birth to that child and it could be alive. But I just feel like Kimberly fucked herself up. And I don't know why celebrities do this. Because it's like, sis, nobody told you this would probably be a bad idea. Nothing in your mind made you feel like, damn, they're going to eat my ass up when I post this. Anyway, sorry for her. In the notion of talking about this birth control thing, Plan B. We're all friends here. I've taken a Plan B or two. Apparently at CVS and Rite Aid. And if you're from the South, I'm from Michigan. I was born in Michigan. I grew up in Jamaica, but Rite Aid is like a Walgreens or a CVS, and I only know them to be up north. I've never seen one down here. I don't know where it cuts off at, but they're never really down south. Either way, they apparently CVS and Rite Aid are now getting a limited number, like a more limited number of Plan Bs. And I'm like, damn. So, and I mean, I get it. It's like a early stage abortion. So I guess, and technically it's not, because Plan Bs do not work if you're already pregnant. Yes, bitch, I read the box. So, and apparently it doesn't work when you're ovulating. So bitch, be careful. Because if you're ovulating at the time and dude just shoots the club up, that's the baby, bitch. And Plan B ain't gonna do shit but just float past shit. But apparently they're putting limited amounts of that out too. So, I mean, I don't know. All I can say is, y'all, be careful who you fucking. I would always say you shouldn't have sex with somebody you wouldn't want to be the mother or father of your child. I have done pretty good with that. Everybody I've given the box to, I have a baby with them. But again, I bet niggas I fuck. I don't just pick a nigga and fuck them. So I don't know. What all I'm saying is be a little careful, bitch. And Plan Bs may not be rolling in like you think. The last time I had to take Plan B was probably last year. And it was last year. And I did go to like fucking CVS. I went to CVS and they didn't have no fucking Plan B. And I ended up having to go to Walgreens. So they was in a shortage last year, bitch. Just be careful. Just be careful what you put in your ovaries. All right, next. Nipsey. So let's talk about Nipsey Hussle. Rest in peace to Nipsey. The accused, I think his name's Eric something. The accused, I think he was supposed to go to court today, this morning, and they had to abruptly reschedule the hearing, his hearing, or his other day, his second day in court. I don't know how many days he's been in court now, but they had to abruptly stop because apparently he got the dog shit beat out of him in prison. Now, Nipsey Hussle was obviously affiliated with stuff. And other, aside from that, he's a beloved artist, right? People love him. I like Nipsey. I was very sad when he passed. So I don't know how you think you're going to do something to that effect and someone's not going to fuck you up. I feel the same exact way about like girls who like people like who abuse kids. When you go to prison, we the people expect you to get fucked up in prison because that's just what we heard about prison. Pedophiles and rapists and shit get beat up. And if you killed a well-known rapper, like I said, that was also affiliated or whatever, that's loved amongst many, I don't know what he thought was going to happen to him in prison. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I'm sure he was prepared for it. If you pick up a gun and just shoot somebody multiple times, I would assume you're prepared for whatever comes from that. But that's why they weren't able to have his hearing. So I truly think I feel like they might kill him, y'all. I feel like they might kill dude, honestly, because I was surprised he made it this far. Nipsey's been gone for about, 2 years now? It's been like 2 or 3 years since he passed, and I'm surprised the guy made it that far. But it's kind of like the same for the guy who killed, damn. Get paid, young nigga, get paid. It's kind of like same for the guy that killed the other rapper recently. I'm losing his name. I'm not remembering his name right now, but they killed him outside of the cookie shop. And he was also, everybody loved him. He seemed like a great guy. I don't know what these gangsters expect to happen after you do something like that to a beloved rapper that also has people affiliated with him. I just don't understand how that works. And then my real question is too, just on a side note, for the people that decide they want to kill these people for no fucking reason. All this weird. Yes, Young Dolph. Thank you. It's Young Dolph. Thank you so much. Fat_boy_said. Appreciate you. Young Dolph. Him too. His killer. I think it was like 2 of them or something like that. What the fuck did y'all like? What were you given? What was the payment that's worth running and hiding for like the rest of your life? You get what I'm saying? Because that's what you're gonna do unless they get you, put you in prison. And then even in that case, you're probably gonna get fucked up or become somebody bitch in the process. So why? I just say why. And for these guys that do all this, y'all so big and bad and so tough. You guys feed so much into the narrative of niggas just ignorant, niggas are just dumb, niggas don't read. You guys feed into that narrative so much because there are so many people that have done so many fucked up things to like our sons, our black women, our wives, or whatever. There's so many things that require justice. And if you're gonna go to prison for life, nigga, why not go to prison for some shit that actually matters? You get what I'm saying? Like I remember the very first civil rights kind of justice-y thing I watched was the Trayvon Martin case. I was pregnant at the time, and I remember I watched it religiously. I never missed anything going on with it. And I remember when I found out Zimmerman got off, I cried. I was just like, I felt so bad for his parents. And I just felt so bad for that little boy. That was also here in Florida. I'm in Florida. And I just remember people saying, oh, the street gonna get him. The street's gonna get Zimmerman. Zimmerman is still walking around here. This motherfucker tried to sue Trayvon Martin's parents. I think it was last year or the year before. And it's just like, so all you gangsters, y'all running up on Young Dolph, y'all running up on Nipsey, you running up on your fellow black women, other niggas, and it's motherfuckers out here killing our kids and y'all just letting them, whatever. All I'm saying is I don't fucking get it. I don't understand street justice and shit like that. But this guy, he's obviously going to get accused. They have video of him too, so I'm sure they know it's him. I don't know why we keep calling him accused. We got him on camera, but whatever. He about to get fucked up in there. That's it. He's just going to get fucked up all the time. All right. I don't know how to say her name. Ghislaine Maxwell, Jocelyn, whatever Maxwell, the white woman that was with Jeffrey Epstein while he was raping all these fucking kids. It's another one. So if you don't know the gist of it, there's at least two different Jeffrey Epstein documentaries. I've watched them both. They're very good. I think one's on Netflix and one might be on Hulu. You can just Google it and kind of see. But you know, what it'll show you is how the white man with money is literally like the most ridiculous fucking thing in the world. This man had his little island. Remember, you heard about the island? He would just kind of take bitches to the island, young girls, and they almost kind of just held hostage, damn near. And it's like a sex trafficking ring. That's what he was eventually accused of. So when they finally caught a hold of Epstein, he ended up dead. He was hung, or excuse me, he hung himself in prison. Some people think he's still alive. Some people think he was killed because he knows too much. I don't know. But this was his bitch, basically. And I am a firm believer that a lot of women who came out and accused him, they accused her too, not of performing the sexual acts, but of bringing them there to get raped, or bringing them there to get molested, or telling them to calm down. Just kind of like, you know, priming little girls up. And when I say little girls, I mean like teens, 13, 14, 15, that type of thing. She was also accused of that. And it's like, as a woman, I feel like that's some of the grimiest shit I ever heard. And I know when I started to watch a documentary that they have on her, but I just ended up not getting it. It's something about white women and their tears that aggravates the dog shit out of me. Truly. And so hearing this bitch try to bitch and complain, I didn't do nothing. Yes, you did, bitch. You were there. She came from money. So she's a pretty wealthy woman. And I do like when the justice system has no choice but to hold white people accountable for the fucked up things they do when they do them. Because you were around knowing that he was molesting kids and bringing kids for him to fuck. And you feel like, okay, he died. I'ma just, no, bitch, you going to prison too. That hoe was sentenced to 20 years in prison, I believe today or yesterday. It sounds like a victory to me. My mom thinks they're gonna kill her. I hope not, but I get it. It's like, this bitch got secrets. If you want them 20 years to turn into like 5, you're gonna have to start snitching on niggas. And I don't know how clients used to do that, but that was allegedly why they feel like Jeffrey took his own life or whatever. I don't know. But I feel like there should be a punishment for facilitating a space where young girls are harmed, or young boys, or anyone. You're held accountable too. You knew what the fuck was going on. So sis got 20 years. I'm sure more will come out, but she was sentenced to 20 years for her role in the sex trafficking scandal. So she can cry all she want, bitch. It ain't gonna make no difference. Well, since we're sticking to prison, I have a lot of prison things. I have 2 more prison things on here. So next, I want to talk about Bill Cosby really quick. It's funny because right before this episode, he posted a selfie of him. He is old as fuck now. He posted a selfie of himself, or a picture of himself, and he just said, 1 year after years of fighting for the truth, he's been out for a year now. Like, he's been out of prison for a year. His wife says, this relaxed, whatever looks good on him. I watched a documentary on Showtime. I ended up getting Showtime just so I can watch it. It's called We Gotta Talk About Bill. I think it's called We Gotta Talk About Bill. If you have Showtime or want to do the couple-day trial or whatever, I think it was a really, really good series. It was like a short series, about 4 episodes. And it talked about a lot of things about Bill Cosby that I didn't know, as I'm years younger than Bill Cosby. I got to know Bill Cosby first because of A Different World. My mom used to watch A Different World. A Different World is one of my favorite shows in the world. And I didn't watch The Cosby Show, but my mom watched it. So it was on. I remember somebody used to always call me Rudy because we were both like the same color and whatever. And Rudy was really mouthy, and so was I. So I used to, a few of my mom's friends used to call me Rudy all the time. So those are probably the only references I really know from The Cosby Show. I didn't watch it much, but like I said, I was a huge fan of Different World. I still am. And but the documentary, or the series, the short series, it talked about Bill Cosby's start and just all the walls that he kind of broke down. Yes, love you, Sasha. Love that show too. It talked about all the walls that he broke down for Black people. In the very beginning, like when he started, TV was still showing in black and white. Like, this is how long ago this was. And if you're familiar with the comedian Dick Gregory, I'm not very familiar with him, but I do know his name. Like, I know he's royalty in comedy, in the comedy world. Bill Cosby's reference was he was supposed to be the like alternative to him. Like he wanted to be like Dick Gregory. And I guess once he realized the nice guy act worked a little better, that he moved on for there. So the documentary goes on to say all these wonderful things about him, giving him his flowers because, you know, at back then at the time, Black people already had a tough time. The only thing we really saw on TV for us was like those really coony ass shows where like Black people, we was already Black, but then they put us in blackface and we were just like the dumb, ignorant, oh, what's this? Is it? What's this? Is this a spoon? Like just stupid shit like that. This is what was still on TV. So I learned about his show, I Spy, which I've heard of, but never knew who was on the show or anything like that. Found out it was Bill Cosby. And, you know, it was just so inspirational for people. Even then, it was like a Black man on TV. Apparently, he was a smart one on the show. So he broke down so many barriers for Black people in his rise to fame. And then he just became bigger than life. You get what I'm saying? They talked about how he fought really hard for stunt doubles. So what they used to do for stuntmen back in the day. And I just feel like white people, so they would get a white man and paint him Black. And I don't mean like brown paint, like literal actual Black paint. They would paint him Black and make him like jump off the building or whatever the fuck the stunt was. And just to think that this is how fucking ignorant people are. That it's just like, oh, well, they're niggers and niggers are Black. So let's just paint them Black. It's like, what the fuck is that? But either way, Bill Cosby apparently fought very hard to give Black stunt doubles a position, you know, give him a role. And it honestly made sense. Why the fuck would you hire a white man, paint him Black, and make him do the same shit? You can hire a nigga that looked just like me to make him do it. So Bill Cosby fought a lot for that. And they gave him so many accolades throughout that. He was good in comedy still. He was this, he was that. But the punchline to the very first episode is that all throughout those years, like from the very beginning of his career, when he was on I Spy and he was doing all that, there was so many complaints against him. There were so many complaints of Cosby getting a little too touchy-feely, giving bitches shit to take. He has so many stand-up acts that reference that Spanish Fly shit he used to give bitches to get them on, whatever. And the idea of Spanish Fly, it sounds like, and I don't know, y'all, because I don't take drugs. Like when people pop a Molly, I guess that the idea I got from Molly when it was like popular was that bitches got real freaky on it, I guess, or pop Molly, I'm sweating. It was, I don't know. It was supposed to get your shit working. He has so many stand-up acts where he references Spanish Fly. In a book he made, I think one that was like for children, he referenced Spanish Fly in that too. So it's like, is it really that hard to believe that Bill Cosby really was drugging women and fucking them? I don't know why everybody's so surprised about that. And for me, I'm not gonna lie, y'all, I believed it the first time it came out. I'm not even gonna lie, I believed it. I believed what was happening, and everybody's story is like exactly the same. And I'm not saying it's not a bitch that's not lying. Somebody could definitely be lying, but Bill Cosby has talked about this himself so many times. He has admitted on camera that he has given women drugs and let them get high, and then they can't fucking move, and he fucks them. Well, he didn't admit all that. He admitted to giving her the drugs and having sex with her. So whatever, I added all that other shit. But to hear some of these women describe what happened to them, it would be, damn, what was the other one? Quaaludes. So Quaaludes is, I guess, what he eventually got into. I don't know if it's the same as Spanish Fly or the connection to it or whatever the fuck. I don't know. But he would just be like, take this. Like some bitches say, I got a headache. And he'll be like, okay, take this. You'll feel better. You're like, what is? Don't worry about it. Trust me. You don't trust me? And of course, their thing was, of course, I trusted him because it was Bill Cosby, right? And and I don't know who I can compare him to. Like he was like Oprah, or I don't know. He was just a really big deal back then. You know what I mean? So no one expects someone so public, someone so much in the public eye to be a fucking rapist. But he was. And I don't know why niggas are so in denial about that. Like, I'm sorry, but niggas rape people too. Like it doesn't mean because he is what he is, he wasn't a fucked up guy or he wasn't weird in so many ways. And there were complaints about him all throughout the fucking 60s, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s. Bill Cosby's been doing this shit for years. And it's like a lot of women just never said anything because a lot of times they took the drug willingly, right? So there's a debate there where taking the drug willingly, does that automatically mean you're supposed to get raped? No, it doesn't. Maybe they popped it like a Molly or something. And they just thought they'd be fine. One lady talked about it. She said she took Quaaludes like when she was with her homegirls. So she thought nothing of it. He gave her and her homegirl one. The homegirl was slumped, like sleep, dead, couldn't move. And she was like telling him, hey, leave her alone. But she was like, you couldn't get the words out. Like you're literally like stuck. And you try to lift your hand and it's just too heavy. You can't. You're trying to speak and your words are mumbling. All you can really move is your eyes. Imagine being trapped in your own body like that and having a nigga on top of you trying to fuck you. Like, I feel like when we say it like this and we understand how traumatizing and how fucked up that is, then we understand how, okay, this shit isn't. You get what I'm saying? So I guess after the girl was trying to like to get him, hey, stop fucking my friend, he came and raped her. And then she was just like, how we got to leave. He was like, call a cab. And he just zipped his dick up and left. I just feel like watching it and listening to all the reports and all the complaints on his I Spy cast, that was the case. There were people in like the sound crew or whatever. He was a star, right? So on the sound crew, they would just like bring young girls on there. And this happened during the Cosby Show too. This happened on the Cosby Show too. He was giving bitches drugs and fucking them while he was doing the Cosby Show. I just feel like we can definitely say you did a good job, you did a good job, you did a good job at all this shit, but you're a fucked up guy. This reminds me of a football player. I don't know what his fucking name was, but he was fine as fuck. This was like 4 years ago. Very attractive guy. But he was raping women like crazy. And it was like, you bitches would just give you pussy. Why are you doing this? And that's where it defends the argument that rape a lot of times is more so about the control. It's not about just wanting to get your rocks off. They like having someone struggle. They like having someone beg to get let go like this. And this is what makes this shit so much more sadistic and fucking disturbing, because this is what you're going after. You get what I'm saying? Hold on. Sasha said something to me. Like it's natural, it's expected, accustomed to men being fucky, very fucky, Sash. Never want to be that high. I never want to be that high either. And I have someone to have sex with me when I was too drunk to move. I didn't move at all. They don't like this conversation. I mean, hey, I think there's something to be said about you as a man deciding I'm going to have sex with this woman that's not moving. You know what I mean? I think it's disgusting. And I just implore young women. I mean, this was back in the 70s, 80s, whatever. So I guess back then, I would say popping mollies. Doing Quaaludes and shit like that was just, I guess, a little bit more expected, I suppose. But he just did this so much. I just watched the documentary or watched the series. It was really, really good. And I think it did a good job at giving him credit for all the things he did right, but also holding him accountable for all the things he did wrong. It doesn't, everything isn't just some huge conspiracy against niggas. There's also that notion that he was trying to buy NBC, and that's why all these accusations are coming out against him. I direct you back to what I said about Caesar, the black ink nigga. Whether your ex-girlfriend leaked this to get back at you or not, the bottom line is you fucking did it. You idiot. You did it, and they have it on camera. And now you lost your show. With Mr. Cosby, same thing. Whether this was you were really trying to get NBC, which for the record, a black guy on there, Mark Lamont Hill, I like him. He said there was no proof that NBC was trying to sell at all to anybody. And there was no proof that he was buying it. Like, there's no proof of this anywhere, but this is just the theory that niggas have run with. And I get it. I get how easy it is to kind of get stuck with that, but there's no proof that any of this was happening. He's an old man that got caught. And it really just came out with Hannibal, the Hannibal guy, whatever his name was, that made the little comedy special. And then from there, it just took off. But the bottom line is if he did it at least once, he's guilty. And he admitted to doing it once. So to me, that's enough. And to know that there were so many complaints about him for so many years, I find it disturbing that so many people are hell-bent on choosing not to believe that. And like I said about the 101-year-old Nazi guard, whether, justice came late for him, and it sucks that he will spend the rest of his life in prison, but justice is justice. And I hope somebody from the Holocaust, I doubt any of his victims are still alive, obviously, but maybe the great grandkids of their victims, I hope they feel some type of peace or some type of vindication or something, just knowing that someone that was a part of what caused them so much pain is paying for it now. And it's kind of the same thing with Mr. Cosby. He's out now. He's been out for a year. And I felt bad for his old ass too when I saw him, you know, walking and doing that weird lean shit. I remember that lean shit he kept doing? That shit, remember that? I felt bad for him too in that process, but I feel worse for the women. I feel worse for the women, white, black, whatever. I feel worse for them that were taken advantage of like that. A lot of the women were saying things like, they just woke up and they were naked in his bed, right? And then they were just like, oh my gosh. And then they started getting mad at themselves. They're like, oh my gosh, I just embarrassed myself in front of Bill Cosby. I can't believe this. Just completely ignored the fact that they were just fucking raped or anything like that. It's just, what did I do? What did I do? Mr. Cosby, is everything okay? And he would just treat them like, hey, it's no problem. You can come back tomorrow. And he does the same thing. He makes them a fucking cup of tea. And I just, too much. But he was my prerequisite into my last topic, which is Mr. Robert Kelly. So I don't know if you guys watched Surviving R. Kelly, the first part and the second part. I watched all of them shit. And it was fucked up. It was fucked up. I've always respected that R. Kelly was like a good artist, I guess. But I remember hearing way back then that he was married to Aaliyah or dating Aaliyah or something like that. And Aaliyah was only a couple years older than me. So I was like, that's weird as fuck. And ever since then, R. Kelly has just seemed like a nasty old man to me. That's just how I've always pictured him. It's funny because I got a homegirl, I won't say her name. She may not want to be affiliated with his ass now, but she loves that man. Like she would live and die by R. Kelly. And I ain't heard her say shit about his ass since. But he's always made me uncomfortable. And I remember my very first concert that I went to was an R. Kelly concert. My mom had got free tickets. She used to deal in the music industry a lot back then. And she had got free tickets and she just kind of brought a whole bunch of us. And I couldn't watch most of the fucking show because R. Kelly had a bed on the stage and he was like humping bitches and shit on the stage. My mama was like, what the fuck? I don't know. She flipped out, took me outside, and she kind of looked in while I stand in like the hallway. I was like, bitch, take me home, bro. Like, what the fuck are we here? So R. Kelly's always kind of made me uncomfortable. But what I had to put here first is we have to give him credit, like we gave to Mr. Cosby. We have to give him credit for the fact that he is a musical genius by any standard, right? I am comfortable even saying he was and probably still is for a lot of people. I don't know who's beaten him yet, but he was the king of R&B. I'd even give him that. I mean, R. Kelly knows how to make a good fucking song, right? He's written so many songs for so many people. There are so many songs we sing. Don't even, did you know he wrote A Woman's Worth, the Maxwell song? All that shit. He wrote that song. That's a great song. And you know he could have sang that song too. But Maxwell does have a higher, up there. But anyway, we cannot deny that this man is talented. Any musician from the K. Michelle to Tank always raves about him. Tyrese loves him. Anybody in the music industry, most people in the music industry, I'm sure it's such an uncomfortable topic because it's like, this man is nasty. He's a nasty man. Okay. I never watched the video of him peeing on the 13-year-old or 14-year-old, but he did it. He definitely pissed on that kid and then kept fucking her. Do you see what I'm saying? It's like we have to, oh my gosh, I can't go there yet. Anyway, people around the world, musicians around the world, they love him, they respect him, and they have to because he is good at what he does. I will never take that from him. I will never discredit what he does. However, I haven't been able to detach the monster from the music, if you will, because I'm remembering shit like, Age Ain't Nothing But a Number. That was Aaliyah's song. He wrote the song and he was fucking her at the time. And at the time, she was like 15. They were married when she was like 15, right? They talked about how they faked documentaries. Hey, Muff. They talked about how they faked papers, to make her appear older so they can get married, and all this shit they talked about in the documentary. And I guess even back then it was hard to deny his musical genius because he is good at what he does, but there were so many things around him that facilitated a space where he could fuck these kids. And I was amazed at the simple fact that All these other people ain't in jail. I don't understand how. Like, if you guys watched Surviving R. Kelly, there was a security guard in there, like a lot in the first one, that kept talking about all the shit he did to help R. Kelly kind of do what he was doing and all the little cover-ups he had to do and shit like that. And my thing is, why you not in prison, fam? Why you not in prison? And the one of the important things I guess we got to talk about is the fact that R. Kelly was molested. Apparently him and his older brother, or one of his brothers, was molested by their older sister for a while when they were kids, right? And in his case, I don't know if something happened to Bill Cosby for him to be a fucking sexual deviant, because he is, but R. Kelly is definitely into some freaky shit. And I definitely think this shit that his sister did to him plays a role in that. And I guess this goes back to why I feel like I wish Black people, and I'm Jamaican, so you know island people are so much fucking worse. They're like Black people times 1,000 when it comes to mental health and getting yourself checked out and talking to somebody about the fucked up things that are wrong with you. But if R. Kelly had maybe gotten some type of help, maybe he wouldn't have been so stuck in this, I like fucking 15, 16-year-old girls. You get what you're saying? Like, he had something fucked up happen to him. And unfortunately, a lot of times hurt people. And all the TV shows I watch are usually about true crime. And it's usually somebody who was molested or harmed or something as a child who turns into an adult that's kidnapping and raping and fucking killing people. And so I just feel like R. Kelly definitely had a terrible upbringing, but never got the help that was needed. And because he was such a musical genius, I remember they kept saying on the show is he can't read. I would like to think he can read now, bitch. But they were like, he can't even read, but he can write a song, he can sing his ass off. And I'm like, so we just don't let all this shit make us forget that he sounds like he's sick as fucking need help, because he was abused as a child and now he's going around fucking people kids, literally. And we're just gonna let him get away with this because he's a musical genius. All those people around him, if they really wanted better for him, they should have taken him to get help. And I kind of use this same example with Kodak Black. When Kodak Black kept getting in trouble the other day, and it was just like, who was around him? You know what I mean? Like, who was his team? And with some of those people, and we kind of said the same about Sha'Carri Richardson, the track runner. We kind of said the same about her when she had like the whole weed situation. It was, who is your team and who's around you, and why isn't somebody trying to guide you in a better way? But that's assuming you can even talk to these people. You get what I'm saying? Like, who would Kodak really listen to? Maybe his mama or whatever, but I'm willing to bet he probably didn't listen to his mama growing up. So I don't know how inclined he would be to do it now. I think it was other celebrities that maybe come and change Kodak's way. And in R. Kelly's case, a lot of the stories I've heard about him from other celebrities, while they give him all this musical genius accolades, they give him these accolades, but they also do admit that he was a cocky son of a bitch, right? Like, he knows he was good and he knows he can write and he knows he can sing. So he also didn't fucking listen. And he knew that women would come to him from near and far. He just chose younger ones. Every fucking chance he got, he chose a child. And I just, no, it was some old bitches on the show too, crying and complaining about him, holding them hostage. He needed so much help. I feel like everyone around him failed him. And then it just spiraled into the situation that we have now, because as of today's June 29th, 2022, R. Kelly has been sentenced to 30 years in prison. And when I saw it, I just shook my fucking head. Honestly, like, I just didn't know what else. I don't know what else to say. It's just such a waste. It's such a waste. You know what I mean? But as a mother, right? As mother of a daughter, as the big sister of a 16-year-old, as having been a 14, 15, 16-year-old girl once upon a time, I know how fucking stupid they are. We dumb at that age. We're very easily influenced. We just want somebody to love us. Right. And then R. Kelly is big shit back then, right? You remind me of my Jeep and all that other shit. So us knowing songs we're not supposed to know, and then a grown man kind of looking at us and giving us the eye. I have always been afraid of older men, right? Personally, I hope Mia is as well, and my sister. But these girls, instead of giving them the title of this bitch was fast and this bitch was grown, R. Kelly nasty. Why don't we use that? I know a whole bunch of niggas my age in their 30s. They're not out here fucking kids, I hope. If you have no business dealing with a fucking 15-year-old. So his sentence was 30 years for his his past sexual abuse, I guess, on women. And they also kind of labeled his as trafficking as well. And in watching the documentary, it didn't seem like Jeffrey Epstein was getting women or girls or younger girls to fuck him and all his friends, right? That's why all them celebrities affiliated with him. Bill Cosby was cool, that nigga too. All these celebrities affiliated with him. That's why everyone's giving all their ass the side eye. Everybody trying not to be fucking affiliated with Jeffrey. But if you was on that fucking island, you was doing something, right? And it's kind of the same thing. In Jeffrey's case, he was getting the girls and everybody for his team. R. Kelly was fucking all these girls himself, right? R. Kelly was just like, I want to fuck them. I want to fuck all the kids. And was his thing. So I think there's just so many levels of craziness, I feel like, in watching that documentary. And even the second one was even worse. It was just more and more levels of things that he's done. But I just feel like everybody around R. Kelly failed R. Kelly. And then R. Kelly failed himself. You know what I mean? In being so promising and fucking up your career. Because R. Kelly's what, in his fifth? Alexa, how old is R. Kelly?
R. Kelly is 55 years old.
He's 55 years old. And he was sentenced to 30 years. And I don't know what the minimum, if there's a minimum of a certain amount of years before he can be released. I'm not sure how his sentence is set up, but it's like, this is your career now. The people who admire you and respect you and love you always will, I'm sure. I don't play his music. I wasn't that big of an R. Kelly fan anyways. I knew a lot of his songs because you couldn't turn the radio on without hearing R. Kelly. And I do feel like something should be said about separating the man from the music, or, however you want to word it. I agree, but I don't know, man. As a mom, y'all, as somebody who takes rape and molestation and these type of things very fucking seriously, I can't condone the fuck shit. You know what I mean? And 30 years is heavy. I wish he could have got all this shit or whatever earlier on, because he's going to be, if he has to serve 30 years, which I doubt he has to serve all 30, but he may get credit for time served because he's been locked up for some time, but he's 50 something now, 55. 30 years from now, this man is 70. And that's crazy. No, shit, he's 80. And I feel like he'll probably be in his 60s or so. They'll probably make him serve at least, like, I don't know. I'm going to Google it. I'm going to Google how much he probably has to serve to see how old he would be when he comes out, at least. It's kind of like in some states, this is again from all the crime shit I watch, a little fun fact for you. When people are sentenced to life in prison, depending on the state and the country too, it's really like 35 years. And then you have the possibility of parole, but that's what's considered life. In states like Florida is the only one I know for sure, because I live in Florida. You should know your laws of your state, by the way. In Florida, if you're sentenced to life, it's life, which Florida don't fucking play. And Florida has death penalty. So Florida is very fucking ghetto down here. We got that stand your ground law. We have a lot of real fucked up laws down here. But when you get life in Florida, it's life. And there's no 35 years and then you're out. No, bitch, you just there. In Jamaica, shout out to Vibes Cartel, Free World Boss, he got sentenced to life, but it's a minimum of 35 years and then the possibility of parole. So if he can't get out, it's with acquittals, or not acquittals, but like if one of them things when you get in trouble, appeals. If none of his appeals work, which I think he got denied like 2 of them already, I don't know. Then he has to serve 35 years. I don't know how old Cartel gonna be when he come out, but I don't think that's the same case with Kelly. Kelly got 30, so they'll more than likely give him credit if he has good lawyers, which I'm sure he does. They'll give him credit for time served, and then he's out. But then the real question is, once Mr. Kelly comes out, then what? Because that's also the argument when it comes to the justice system. We lock people up who have obvious problems, right? You can't be normal. Something has to be wrong with you for you to feel like it's okay to be fucking a whole bunch of kids. So instead of giving people therapy and rehab and so on and so forth, we just lock them up for a whole bunch of years and then let them out. And a lot of times when you let these people out, they may be very institutionalized. I don't think R. Kelly had that because he is R. Kelly. So that won't be his case, but none of his urges or whatever the fuck you want to call this rapist shit he does, none of this has been addressed while he's been in prison. From what I heard, he out here singing on fucking phone calls for people for commentary. I wish I was kidding, but I'm not. I'm not kidding. People got him in there singing to their loved ones and shit, and they giving him money on his books. So when he comes out, then what? right? There are still women that are going to want to sleep with him. And in those cases, that has nothing to do with anybody. But is he still going to be attracted to young girls? His brother even made a point on the documentary. His brother, who was currently in prison at the time, which is crazy. His brother was like, Kelly like him younger. That's all. He got a preference. He has a preference. And I'm like, okay, we all have preference, but there's something called illegal, which I'm sure you understand, Mr. Robert Kelly's brother, because you're currently in fucking prison. So there's still legal young, and then there's illegal young. And R. Kelly always seemed to go straight to illegal young. Like he just went there. There was no in between. There was no whatever. There was a few older bitches, and they said they was held hostage and shit like that too. And I'm like, all right, sis. But it was just crazy. And I just feel like the 30-year sentence, I don't feel good about it. I'm not overjoyed about it. I'm happy that justice has been served, to some extent to these girls. But it's more so for me anyway, I want the Bill Cosbys and the Jeffrey Epsteins and the what's that motherfucking name? And they was mad at Oprah about because she did the Michael Jackson thing and didn't get him. Damn, it's that white man. Yeah, white man. But that white man that was also accused of doing a lot of weird shit on his director's couch, that type of shit. I want people like them, these men that have all this money and all this power, and even I can never, is it Ghislaine Maxwell, whatever her name is, and even women that have money and have power. I want them to know that eventually this shit does catch up with you. And these are very wealthy people that we're talking about. So I don't know if that's always the case, but that's the satisfaction I get out of it. Hopefully it stops other people in power from doing weird shit like that. And there's so many little cases and so many uncomfortable little conversations we don't like to have. And I think this happens in the Black community a lot. This is on another note, that we cover up the weird shit that happens in our family all the time. If there's someone in the family that's molesting kids, we need to call him the molester. Make him feel like what the situation is. Stop having him at family events. Stop leaving kids around. He's excommunicated now. There's no reason they should still be allowed to be around your children. And people, a lot of those situations, in the R. Kelly situation, Aaliyah's parents, and I never want to, offend grieving parents, but I think there's a lot of fuckery with the two of them too, because this man has been, you just send your kid off to him. How the fuck does she get married to a grown ass man and y'all don't know? And then y'all trying to tell me they had no idea they was fucking? How I knew they was fucking and y'all didn't know? You get what I'm saying? I was like 3. I don't even know. I was very young at the time. But how do I know this? How does my mom know this? How does the industry know this? And you guys just kind of let that go. And they never want to talk about it. And I understand that it's a painful time, but it would be respected more. I would respect them more if they came out and said we made a mistake. But they can never admit to that. They can never admit to willingly giving their child to R. Kelly for him to fuck. And I think a lot of those parents want to deny that, but it's like, in my mind, I'm choosing to believe they really thought he was going to help their kids' careers. They really thought it was going to be something good for their children in the future. And that's why they decided to let this man do this. I in my heart of hearts, I do not want to believe they really just let this man fuck their kids like that. But I don't know. So it just goes back to 30 years is a long time. I'm going to look up exactly how much of that time he actually has to serve. Like I said, I'm pretty sure they'll give him credit for time served. But it's the judgments that they're passing down have been intense. And I think even Bill Cosby, they're trying to try him for something else, like another case, another sexual abuse case or rape case, something like that. So Cosby chilling, but he just needs to be careful. And in his case, he's going to be like the 101 Nazi guy, because you old as fuck and you about to die in prison. And I really thought that's what Cosby was going to get, but I think how did he even fucking get out now that I'm thinking about it? Did he get out because of a appeal? Did he have an appeal? Or was that just his time served? That might have just been his time served. They never really put a lot of weight on rape, which is so fucking offensive. But they usually don't put a lot of weight on rape, and they usually don't put a lot of time served or time to be served on crimes against women, especially back in the day, and unfortunately, a lot of the times when rape victims come out, they're immediately, well, what did you do? To cause this on you. And that's another reason why this Roe versus Wade thing is so disheartening, because it just seems like a space of men feeling like, I like her, I want to fuck her. And he gets to do it. And now if you're in any of these multiple states that have banned abortion, now you're stuck with a child. of your rapist. And I feel like that's so inhumane to force a woman to have to do that. You know what I mean? Apparently in Poland, abortion's been illegal for the last 30 years in Poland. So I don't know what the fuck ladies been doing down there. I guess they just been being real extra cautious. But either way, man, men with money and their appetites for sexual shit. Oh, you know who I want to tell y'all about since I'm talking about this? If you guys haven't watched Secrets of Playboy, I'm a documentary person. I love finding out the tea about some old shit. Please watch Secrets of Playboy. That shit is crazy. And guess who was on the episode? A whole episode about him, Bill Cosby. Because guess who one of his best friends was? The motherfucking Hugh Hefner dude. And even Hugh Hefner, closer at the end, they made him seem a little weird too. He was with that Quaalude shit too. But Hugh Hefner didn't get a lot of rape accusations. He just had like a lot of orgies. Like Hugh Hefner was really fucking like everybody. He had like bad bitches in there. Apparently he was kind of gay too. You know? But Bill Cosby was there and he was always there. There was a woman there that he apparently abused her too. She said they were friends and he did the same thing of giving her something to drink. The next thing she knows, she woke up with him on top of her and she was crying and she got him off and she left and they just like never spoke again. But he was so high up in the Playboy ranks, if you will, that nothing happened to him. Nothing happened. Oh yes, and Cornelius, Don Cornelius. Right? That's the Alexa. Did Don Cornelius host Soul Train?
No. On November 5th, 2005, Soul Train was hosted by Dorian Gregory.
She didn't really answer my question. Either way, the Soul Train guy. Maybe if it's not Don Cornelius, maybe I have the wrong name. But from way back in the day, he was also at the Playboy Mansion. And there was such a terrible fucking story. Like they didn't describe much because it was so graphic. It was so bad. But he got two young girls from Playboy and he basically held them in his house for days and did crazy things to them, like literally putting objects in different parts of these girls. They were like tied up type of thing. Like, and what annoys me is these were Black guys. And it was like, what the fuck are y'all doing? It's like you give, and I hate that. This is where in episodes like this, I need Micah, because this is when Micah starts dropping all this. Black men were not like this. This is them trying to be like the white man and blah, blah, blah. So I can't speak on that because I don't know, but I just feel like that's so fucking crazy. It's so crazy. And none of this comes out while they're alive. That's why I'm not mad at Bill Cosby for getting his ass dragged at this old age. I don't give a fuck. You shouldn't get to live a peaceful life and then we talk about all your crimes after you're gone, because that's what we're doing with Hugh Hefner. And that's what tends to happen a lot with these white people. I don't want that to be the case. Hold this motherfucker accountable today. But even then, in all these stories with Hugh Hefner and some of the complaints about him, with him, it wasn't rapey. It was more young girls coming, because everybody wants to be a Playboy bunny back then. Young girls coming, and this is part of why you're here. You're here to get fucked by Hugh Hefner. And if his homeboys like you and you're not one of his favorites, then they can fuck you too. Or we're expecting you to go show them a good time. This is what these girls signed up for. And it doesn't mean it's okay just because this is the way it's set up. But it's harder to argue the Hugh Hefner part because these weren't babies. These weren't 14, 15, 16-year-olds. These were 18, 19, 21-year-olds that signed up for this because back then it was such a glamorous life, I'm understanding. But two of these girls, I think they were like 18 and 19 or something, I believe. Don't quote me on that, but they ended up going with the Soul Train guy. And when they finally got away, I feel like they escaped. Like they were sisters, I think is what they said. And one girl was in the other room hearing the other girl over there just screaming, crying, like for help. And I want all these motherfuckers to go to jail. I'm sorry. I want all of them to go to prison. There's nothing that can justify that. There's nothing that can explain that. And I feel like for Black people, especially when it's Black people doing it, we always hollering about policing ourselves and we need to hold these people accountable. And when I see us sit here and say, well, it doesn't matter, Bill Cosby did all this for me, and I know he didn't do this. You gotta be realistic. This man talked about drugging bitches on everything. Everything. They talked about that kid book, I think, where he had shit in it. He mentioned Spanish Fly 15 times. Why the fuck are you saying that to kids? I just feel like we have to do better amongst ourselves and hold ourselves more accountable. And there's so many niggas that are hollering about how they'll never give up R. Kelly. And my thing is, I'm not even gonna have this debate with you. If you're a mother of a daughter, if you have a young girl anywhere in your life that you care about, she could have easily been a victim of R. Kelly. And I'm pretty sure it would not have been cute if your fucking 14 or 15-year-old was the one getting pissed on camera while him and some other bitch was fucking the shit out of your child. My sister's older than that, and it would be an issue for me. So to understand, to process that so many people can still try to justify it. If you think everybody else is lying, if you ever watched that video, I never watched the video. I was in middle school when that video came out. I was in middle school when the R. Kelly video came out, and I remember they were passing it. They were like sending it around on our like old ass phones, and I had a Razor. Remember Razor, Motorola Razor? I had a Razor, and I just never wanted it. I was like, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see nobody because I was 12, right? And this girl was apparently 13, 14. So this is somebody my age getting fucked by a grown ass man. I wasn't even fucking at the time, so that was even worse. I just didn't want to see it. It was too much. And to see somebody our age getting fucked by a grown ass man, and then he proceeds to urinate on her, and then it was just it's too much. R. Kelly's sick. Bill Cosby sick. The white people I was talking about, Jeffrey Epstein, his bitch sick. The Soul Train guy, he passed away. That motherfucker was sick. Hugh Hefner sick too, sickest, because he just basically had like a brothel over there. And even what he did spawned so many other his homeboys. So like say I'm Hugh Hefner and I own this is the Playboy Mansion, right? We have plants, whatever. His friends that would come and maybe not necessarily get to have their way as much as they would like, they started to open their own little mini Playboy mansions, and that would be the case, and they would be drugging these girls and they would be hurting them. And sorry, YouTube, I was in distress. I just couldn't take it. So either way, R. Kelly got what he got, bro. I don't really have much to say. I want the same for all the white people that do it, and I want the same for all the Black people that do it. And I want us as Black people to do a little bit better at really calling out bullshit when we see it. You know what I mean? Saying, oh, it doesn't matter. I'm going to still step in the name of love, I guess. But I hope you keep that same energy if this, God forbid, happens to you. I can't even say that. I don't wish this shit on my worst enemy. I don't want this for any young girl to have to go through something like that. And I just wish niggas would just be a little, I don't know, man, be a little more decent when it comes to that. It's not okay. I know so many Black people hollering and hooting, singing praises for this dude. And it was like, while he's good at what he does, he was a nasty guy. And even if you don't believe shit else, if y'all seen him pee on that girl, what we talking about? So on that note, please follow us at Let Us Say It For You on IG, Let Us Say It For You on YouTube, and Let Us Say It For You, Just the You on Twitter. I really hope this microphone thing works out. I don't know how you like it, YouTube. I'm going to tell you straight up, I'm tired of holding this shit. So I'm going to get a stand probably. But it looks like the recording went well, so I hope so. Thank you guys so much for listening. Please wash your hands. Don't touch your face. Tell your kids you love them because shit is weird out here. Thank you so much. Goodbye.